has Kirby Joseph at 60, Brian Branch at 65. And just for some reference, he's got Kyle Hamilton at 36, Kirby Joseph at 60, Xavier McKinney at 61, Brian Branch at 65, and Jesse Bates at
Xavier
73.
McKinney.
Oh my God.
See, I'm surprised because I don't have as big of a problem with this as you guys do, but I'll let you guys. Kool-Aid,
I feel like
you start. Then
I
Justin.
feel like Branch is the best safety on the Lions, and Kirby Joseph is elite. That's not a diss on Kirby Joseph, but it just shows the first world problems and the embarrassment of riches that the Detroit Lions have. I don't understand this at all. I don't at all, especially after seeing the season they just had, after the entire defense got hurt except for them. You just saw these safeties effectively carry this defense and help to create such a blanket that I believe in front of them, it made it easier for players like Carlton Davis to be able to have the interceptions. And you looked at even like a guy like T.A. who didn't have the interceptions, but you look at the pass breakups and the opportunities he had to even get them. I believe that a lot of that had to do with these teams believing, okay, this defensive line is banged up. Can we go out there and take advantage? No, the F you can't. You want to come into the red zone on us? And people tested them. It was interesting to see how the plays changed in the last 5 or 6 games of the season towards trying to test a Kirby or a Brian Branch. And that's where, when you look at these types of things, I don't even understand the Xavier McKinney over Brian Branch stuff. I'm so sick and tired of this type of stuff.
Well, you think he's trash, and he's not trash.
He's
not trash.
Listen,
like,
okay.
guys, can we be a little bit objective?
I don't believe that Xavier McKinney is trash from the standpoint of a player, but in terms of the guy continuing to run his mouth and continuing to be shown up, that's trash, and I will continue to call that trash.
But that's not what the list is about. It's not about his
but
shit
I also
talking
don't
on the
believe he's
Lions.
better than Brian Branch. I didn't say he doesn't deserve to be on the list.
Okay,
I'm just stating that Xavier McKinney is not a better safety than Brian Branch. He's just not. And that's how I feel. I believe that both of these safeties have a claim to be number one in the league, but I do tip the cap to Kyle Hamilton. I just believe, though, that Brian Branch should be the second one on this list. I believe Kirby should be third, and I believe Xavier McKinney should be fourth.
Okay, and I can't. That's a fine opinion. Before I go to Justin, interesting. Broder, I don't mind this. I think Branch is better than McKinney, but this isn't outrageous, and that's more akin with where I am, but Justin had a visceral reaction to this, so I'm going to let Justin go first. Take it away, young sir.
Brian Branch is not 30 spots lower than Kyle Hamilton. Straight up. Kyle Hamilton is great, but Brian Branch is just as versatile. He's just as good as a safety, and he is honestly what makes this secondary go. He sets everything up for Kirby Joseph. His presence, the way he hits, excuse me, the way he covers, he is everywhere. You can put him in the box. You can put him in the nickel. You can put him back. It doesn't matter. He just consistently makes plays. He finds the ball. He finds the body. And that is something that Xavier McKinney doesn't do. Xavier McKinney only finds the ball. He's a lot like Kirby Joseph, and that's not a knock on either of them. They're both elite ball hawks. But still, Brian Branch is who makes this secondary go for the Detroit Lions, and he does not deserve to be 5 spots below Kirby Joseph and 4 spots below Xavier McKinney. If you want to talk about a fair place to put him, let's put him at 55, 50, a little bit above Kirby Joseph and Xavier McKinney because he has way more versatility than both of them, and that is what you need when you're an NFL safety.
Let me ask.
I 100% agree with.
Let me ask the chat this: does Xavier McKinney deserve to be 200th? Not on this list, out of the NFL.
Shad said he is trash.
Well, Shad's an idiot. Shad's a known idiot. He's a known idiot who just slap-a-lap-a ding-dongs over everything.
Look, if saying that McKinney is trash makes one an idiot, I'm telling you, it is idiot Kool-Aid here today. Because that's what I'm going to be, especially when you want to run your mouth. I'm so glad that he got put in his place because there was so much talk. And what continues to happen? You continue to get shown up. As much as I hear about what Jared Goff isn't, McKinney definitely isn't doing anything to show that. That I can definitely tell you that. And when you see how much of a difference these safeties have made, not just in the NFC North, but in the NFL overall, that's why I'm just like, no, man, this type of stuff is disrespectful.
I don't think it is. And here's why. Boys,
talk to me.
You guys aren't going to like this one.
Talk to me.
No, boy.
Put up Xavier McKinney versus Brian Branch
Austin
in terms of their
Nicholas
numbers.
said Flannel be telling the truth, LOL. So
and I'm not saying that. I'm saying, though, that this is okay with me. Xavier McKinney last season, 88 tackles, 11 passes defended.
You made me crash out, Flannel.
2 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, a 5.7 missed tackle rate, 0 touchdowns allowed, 8 interceptions, a 56 passer rating allowed. Brian Branch, A lot of these numbers are better.
Look at
109 tackles, 16 passes
come
defended,
right.
8 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, a 13.6 missed tackle rate, 3 touchdowns allowed, 4 interceptions, a 72 passer rating allowed. But according to Justin, these numbers are false, and Brian Branch is 100 times better than Xavier McKinney, right? Right? Sure.
Justin?
All right, well, let's talk about the difficulty of what position they have to play because they play 2 different positions.
I
Xavier
understand.
McKinney is a free safety. His job is to sit back there and be a ball hawk. That's not Brian Branch's job. Brian Branch has to play man coverage. Brian Branch has to blitz. Brian Branch has to do everything that a strong safety has to do. He does a million things on the field. That's why he has more tackles. That's why he has more pass defenses.
Of course.
That's why he has more tackles for loss. That's why he has more QB hits. The only thing that he has is he let up touchdowns. Well, that's because he's playing man coverage. When does Xavier McKinney ever have to play man coverage against wide receivers? He has 4 interceptions. When that's not even his job. It's not even his job.
Justin, I'm not saying that Xavier McKinney's better than Brian Branch. I'm just saying that
Seems
there's
like
an
it.
argument. No, I'm not, because what you're saying actually supports the numbers. Brian Branch had more tackles. He had more passes defended. He had more tackles for loss. He had more quarterback hits. As a safety, as somebody who makes, as like a blitzer, as somebody who makes big plays in the run, Brian Branch has Xavier McKinney beat. But in terms of coverage stats, Xavier McKinney has it over Branch. It's actually very explainable by what you said and what the numbers bear out, that they're similar in terms of ranking in the NFL. Not that they're different, but they're what Brian Branch does better.
When we talk about usage, you throw McKinney into the usage and responsibility
100%.
that Brian Branch does.
Then he would
and
get
he's not
nothing.
gonna
He'd be-
this
wouldn't
guy.
be a Pro Bowler,
It's not
right?
that he's going to be nothing, but I think he'd be ranked even lower
Stop
than he
being
is
blind
right
haters.
now.
Stop being
I
blind
think they're
haters.
just playing him to his strengths, and
Okay,
it's not
fine.
better than Brian Branch.
Okay.
That's good enough.
All
That's
right.
good enough for them, but it hasn't been for the Packers, right? Where's it been for the Packers?
He was probably their best player last year.
Didn't help him against the Lions.
Okay, fine.
All
fine.
he did was
and
got
Brian
him riled
Branch
up. You know
got
what's
fucking
funny?
ejected,
You know what's
and
funny?
nobody cared.
You know what's
but he
funny?
put the fingers up, so woo!
Yes, and you know what that did? That aura
Oh,
willed the Lions
here we
onto
go.
a victory.
Brian Branch
Yes,
contributed
he
nothing
did.
in that game.
Tell
Nothing.
me what he did that everybody in Detroit wasn't on that same energy. We know what it was. I even saw the players on the field like, what is going on to, Brian Branch is crashing the frick out in a way we've never seen. This team has found ways to take that stuff and let it mean something to them. That's what I like, that there's so much more than just the stats. That when you look at Brian Branch and his responsibility on the floor, I'm telling you, McKinney's not holding the jock strap. He's not even sniffing
Holding
it.
a jock
He's
strap.
He's not
He's
sniffing
one of
it.
the best safeties in the NFL.
Put him in
Kool-Aid.
Brian Branch's responsibility, especially with the whole defense falling
The whole
out.
defense wasn't out the whole fucking
The
season.
defense
How many times
fell
do I have
out.
to tell you?
The defense fell out the bottom, bro.
Obviously, at the end of the year.
Xavier McKinney is not holding
Carlton
his
Davis
jock
missed
strap.
the whole season, right? Hutch and Z didn't play any games, right? The whole season. The defense fell off the rails at the end of the year when everybody was out.
Five
Come
games
on.
into the season. 5 games into the season, they were already without Davenport and Hutch.
Okay.
They were trying to those are your pass rushers.
Aleem missed the whole season. He played 14 games. Nobody gives a
Great for him, but Levi O did not necessarily pan out in the ways that they
He was
thought he
good, though,
would.
for them, dude.
He was decent for them. But he was not what any of us believed or what was rumored to be.
Okay.
Especially when you talk about losing players, you can't be decent. You cannot be. And the reason why we saw this team go and take some of the strides they did, it was because these safeties were doing everything they were anything that the team needed, they were going out there and doing it. And we saw Brian Branch be put into a plethora of different situations. That to me is what I'm talking about. McKinney, I think they're playing this guy to his strengths. Just like I believe with some of these other younger players, especially early on, you saw how the Lions handled things with some of their players. They played them to their strengths. They're just more versatile, and that's okay. McKinney is not as versatile, and he's not going to be able to handle the usage. I think that this is in my opinion, I think that this is the Tyrese Halliburton conversation.
Oh, God, Xavier McKinney's Tyrese Halliburton now. You know what? Just kick him out of the league then. Take his Pro Bowl away. Take his All-Pro because he's terrible. He's terrible.
We're not saying
No,
that.
Kool-Aid absolutely is saying
Tyrese
Xavier
Halliburton
McKinney's
made
terrible.
All-NBA this season. Think about that. I just think that you're underrating Tyrese Halliburton just a little bit.
What
No,
the
we're
hell?
talking about Halliburton again.
I'm just
What the hell?
stating.
In the
For
regular
fact, he
season,
made All-NBA.
I'm not mad at the regular
In
season.
NBA
Hallie.
terms, he's ranked a little higher than McKinney would have been.
No, because Xavier McKinney was a first-team All-Pro. No, you just
Rank
have an
him up too
emotional reaction to McKinney. That's all it is.
Listen, if you're going to be that guy, especially from a position where you're talking, you have to show up in your big games. Right now, we judge the Lions on how they have responded in their big games. I'm going to judge them on how you've been in your big games. And you know what it's been? Poop emoji. That's all it's been. Show me where in the big games. You show me what he's doing in the playoffs. You show me what he's doing against the Lions. Those are your top matchups every year. If you're the Packers, can you beat the Lions? Can you do anything in the playoffs? He's not helping them in that regard other than getting the Lions pissed the hell off, and they went in there and laid the smack down, whether they were healthy or not. I know it didn't matter no matter how much it mattered against the Commanders that they weren't healthy. I know who it didn't matter against, the Packers. And it's amazing that you never hear Kirby Joseph running his mouth. You never hear Brian Branch running his mouth. They're always just responding to the bull crap that other people are talking. And then what do you guys see McKinney doing in the locker room after? Man, I'm not talking no more. Yeah, they put me in my place. Yeah. You know what? You can be ranked ahead of Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph at least being able to take your medicine. Because I haven't heard his mouth about the Lions at all since then.
All right.
At all.
All right, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm never gonna win this.
And one more thing, Flannel. One more thing.
Xavier McKinney should be out of the league.
No, I'm not saying that.
He should be fourth on that list. Is ranked in the top 100. He is good, but I do believe that there is a difference between what Branch and his responsibility is and what McKinney and his responsibility is.
I want to know where most of where Xavier McKinney's interceptions came from this year.
I'm guessing that they all don't matter and they're all useless, and all of Kirby's and Branch's impacted the game, swung it by 14 points, right, Justin? I know that's what you're going to
No, it's not what I'm going to say.
Xavier McKinney's interceptions mean nothing. All 8 of them versus the 0 touchdowns he allowed, but he's obviously trash. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead. Emote to the base. Emote to the base. Why don't you?
Talk to me, Justin.
I've got the hard job here.
Poop emote to the base.
You guys have the easy job. I'm the villain. Because I respect Xavier McKinney and don't.
I respect Xavier McKinney.
No, you don't. You clearly don't.
Talk.
I think that 65 is a very reasonable place for Xavier McKinney,
Okay.
but I think that Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph should both be in front of him because they both show up in big games. I think that, if you just look at their performances last year in their big games, Kirby Joseph picks it against the Packers, another pick in the other Packers game. Xavier McKinney, no picks against the Lions. Sorry.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I just think Kirby Joseph is a bigger game player, and so is Brian Branch. Even though Brian Branch got ejected, he still had more of an effect on the game than Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, because he did this and motivated people. Fuck that, bro. Fuck that.
He set the tone.
He always set the tone. Xavier McKinney
did.
played the whole game.
He did set the tone.
Kirby Joseph deserves
And for
credit
what?
that
Just
win,
to
not
lose.
Brian Branch.
He played the whole game just to
Kirby
lose.
Joseph deserves all the credit in the world for that game, not Brian Branch.
He does.
Because he got a fucking pick 6. He did something
He does.
tangible.
And that's what I just said.
That Justin Branch affected the game more in just half of it than McKinney did in the whole game.
That's not true.
After he
Xavier
was just
McKinney was the
running
best
and
player on
yapping
the
his
Packers
mouth,
all
man.
season long.
Not against the Lions.
Fine, but he wasn't terrible.
Not in
He
the
was just
playoffs.
not. He wasn't great against the Lions, but he wasn't terrible.
But
he just didn't
but
elevate.
that's
I get
fine,
it.
But at the
I
table,
get it.
He can be set at table number 4. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Not ahead of Kirby. Not ahead of.